And our first main topic today gets submitted to us from Jramz, who writes, "Hey John, it was recently announced that Micheal Rooker will be in Fast 9 next summer. I think his menacing presence can be assumed he will be a villain for the team to take on in the next installment. Rooker's career was suddenly resurrected with Guardians of the Galaxy, and now he can add another big franchise to his resume. What do you think we can see from him in the Fast franchise? John, what are your thoughts? Thanks." And yes, for those of you who have not heard yet, Micheal Rooker, who, by the way, to me, yes, he's in Guardians of the Galaxy. But the movie I will always think of him from isn't Mississippi Burning, isn't JFK. I will think of him in that other James Gunn film, Slither. I freaking love Slither, and I love him in that. Doctor gave me a prescription. I love him in that. He's amazing anyway. So for those of you who missed out on the news, he is indeed, yes, going to be in Fast 9. This comes to us from Deadline. Guardians of the Galaxy's Micheal Rooker has joined the Universal's Fast and Furious 9 in the role of Buddy in what is a last-minute addition to the production, which is currently underway. Rooker is on a roll with a slew of parts upcoming in 2020, features including in Blumhouse Sony's Fantasy Island on February 28th and Paramount's 21 Laps, Monster Problems on March 6th, in addition to Amazon MRC's The Dark Tower pilot. And again, of course, I will always think of him in being in Slither. Couple of interesting things here about this that catch my attention. Number one, they refer to it as a last-minute addition. That doesn't sound good to me. Unless it's a last minute, we just didn't have somebody filling this role yet, or is this a situation of, hell, we're just kind of winging this whole movie. Let's just add this character at the last second for no reason. And then if that's the case, that's worrisome to me. That's a little bit worrisome to me. But regardless, Rob, I'm always of the opinion that adding talent is never a bad idea. This guy has a very unique screen charisma about him, that is uniquely his own. There's something that he brings to the screen when he's on that very few people have. And I enjoy watching him and stuff. Look, he's not one of the top 50 greatest thespians in the world, but I enjoy seeing him on screen. I have a good time when he's on screen. And aside from the fact that this last-minute addition thing, and this may show that this production is a mess, whatever, I like the addition in principle. What do you think about it?
I think it's great. When someone says last-minute addition, I usually tend to think either one actor fell out, scheduling conflict or something, and he stepped in. I think that was an inspired choice. I've always, ever since Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer, which is a very disturbing movie. That was the first time I ever saw Micheal Rooker, and he was incredible in that film. And he has a hot toy, John. I've brought his hot toy in this room before.
That's right.
And shown it on these shows.
His Yondu hot toy is amazing.
His Yondu hot toy. I'm a huge fan of Micheal Rooker. I think it's great. And I think, he was like the rival driver in Tom Cruise's Days of Thunder.
Oh, that's right.
Where Tom Cruise played Cole Trickle. Because everybody's named Cole Trickle. But Micheal Rooker was his rival. And he was great. And I can't wait to see him behind the wheel of a car again. I hope he gets to drive a lot of urban mayhem, vehicular mayhem in our cities. And I want to see him responsible for that. So I'm looking forward to it.
Aaron, what do you think about the addition of Rooker to this?
I think it's great. He has, what I love about his performances, and this goes back to his days doing video games and voiceovers for animation, he has this vocal quality that you don't even need to see his face to know he's the bad guy. I want to hear him do a menacing laugh. I think that would be really exciting. And I love him from Walking Dead. That's where I really know him from. And I'm not super worried about the last minute addition. I agree with Robert, could have, stepped in. But also, let's not forget that Vin Diesel was also a last minute addition to Saving Private Ryan.
That's true, yeah.
Sometimes a writer, and especially with like the Fast franchise, I feel like that's also a world in which they kind of have a liberty. They're not so stuck to a specific narrative where they can't go, hey, let's just write a couple scenes and throw them in there. Maybe they'll work with the final cut, maybe they won't. And maybe he'll sort of be in some of the scenes, and most of his real scenes will be shown as like extra features or something. Regardless, I'm glad he's in the franchise. franchise. And I hope that this is just setting him up to continue, because I'm sure that we're going to have at least 10 more of these Fast movies.
Probably, undoubtedly, and they're going to end up in outer space at some point. Guys, the question is, what do you think about this edition? Do you think they're overcrowding it? Do you think this is a perfect type of guy? Do you maybe not like Micheal Rooker like the rest of us do, but maybe you don't? Jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right.